3, 2, 1. Hello YouTube, Otaku here. We're going to be getting back into it with the Grapes of Wrath at page 108 because we're on the last 4, thank God, pages of this series. Now we got a little special treat for this occasion here. I pulled out the master class of inhalation equipment, something real special for myself. Not necessarily a one-hitter, but something close, something that once I take one hit from this, it's going to be a world of pure imagination. Yeah, I know that was kind of lame. Anyways. I will be your personal narrator. My name is Otaku. If you haven't been onto this channel before, go ahead and check out the channel description. If you have been here before, grab your inhalation equipment and where is it? I'm looking for that special little so much go on this past day that honestly it'd be nice to get a little recollection of where we're at. Ruthie was older and she knew the tremendous miss of the times. Ain't going to California. Okay, yeah. Everybody's talking about leaving. Right now everybody's together. We met Rosa, Sharon, Connie. Everybody's been introduced that's going to be going with the group. So the important thing now is we found out that Casey's going to be coming because the family agreed to have a preacher come. The family seems to be in good standing with Tom, thank God, because he just he just got out of prison. You don't need to be making enemies with nobody. Most definitely don't need to be making trouble with family. So it's good. Al, his brother, cannot seem to keep it in his pants. His other brother, Noah, is a little slow. He was pulled out incorrectly at birth. Rosa Sharon's married to Connie, but how legitimate is that marriage when we find out what Connie is? That rascal. Anyways, mom and pa are great. Grandma and grandpa, bag of bones, but still very important members of this family. And Tom is here. We have made it out of the prison and back into at least private social life. Family has been reconnected. During these times, it was a lot more difficult to have something like that go on. Not now, thank God. All right, let's do this. Just start from the top of page 108. But Ruthie was older and she knew the tremendousness of the time. And going to California, she said again, and she knew this would be the great time in her life so far. The adults moved towards the lighted kitchen towards the deep dusk, and Moss served them greens and side meat in tin plates. We'll just make sure the equipment is not Still functioning? Okay, good. Alright. Side meat's on the tin plates, but before Ma ate, she put the big round wash tub on the stove and started the fire roaring. Oh yes, and please do not forget, have your water on standby. She carried buckets of water under the tub until the tub was full, and then around the tub she clustered the buckets full of water. The kitchen began a swamp of heat, and the family ate hurriedly. They went out to sit on the doorstep until the water should get hot. They sat looking out to the dark, and at a square of light, the kitchen lantern threw on the ground outside the door. With the hunched shadow of Grandpa in the middle of it, Noah picked his teeth thoroughly with the broom straw. Ma and Rosa Shern washed up the dishes and piled them on the table. And then, all of a sudden, the family began to function. Pa got up and lighted another lantern. Noah, from a box in the kitchen, brought out the bow-bladed butchering knife and whetted it on a worn little carborundum stone, and he laid the scraper on the chopping block and the knife beside it. Paul brought 2 sturdy sticks, each 3 feet long, and pointed the ends with an axe, and he tied strong ropes, double half hitched, into the middle of the sticks. He grumbled, "Should have sold all those single trees, all of them." The water in the pot steamed and roared. Noah asked, "Gonna take the water down there and bring the pigs up here?" ? "Pigs up here," said Paul. You can't spill a pig and scar yourself like you can hot water. Water about ready? ? "Just about," said Ma. "All right, Noah, you and Tom and Al come along. I'll carry the light. We'll slaughter down there and bring them up here." Noah took his knife and Al the axe, and the 4 men moved down to the stay. Their legs flickering on the lantern light, Ruthie and Winefield skittered along, hopping over the ground, and at the stay, Paul leaned over the fence holding the lantern. The sleepy young pigs struggled to their feet, grunting suspiciously. Uncle John and the preacher walked down to help. "All right," said Paul. "Stick 'em, and we'll run 'em up and bleed 'em scald all in the house." Noah and Tom stepped over the fence. They slaughtered quickly and effectively. Tom struck twice with the blunt head of the axe, and Noah leaned over the felled pigs, followed the great arteries with his carving knife, and released the pulsating streams of blood. Then, over the fence with the squealing pigs, the preacher and Uncle John dragged one from the hind legs, and Tom and Noah in the other. Paul walked along with the lanterns, and black blood made 2 trails in the dust. At the house, Noah slipped his knife between tendon and bone of the hind legs. The pointed sticks held the legs apart, and the carcasses were hung from the 2x4 rafters that stuck out from the house. Then the men carried the boiling water and poured it over the black bodies. Noah slit the bodies from end to end and dropped the entrails out on the ground. Paul sharpened 2 more sticks to hold the bodies open in the air, while Tom with the scrubber and Ma with the dull knife scraped the skins to take out the bristles. Al brought a bucket and shoveled the entrails in it and dumped them on the ground away from the house, and 2 cats followed him, meowing loudly, and dogs followed him, growling lightly at the cats. Paul sat at the doorway and looked at the pigs hanging on the lantern light. The scraping was done now, and only a few drops of blood continued to fall from the carcasses in the black pool of the ground. Paul got up and went to the pigs and felt them with his hand, and then he sat down again. Grandma and Grandpa went towards the barn to sleep, and Grandpa carried a candle lantern in his hand. The rest of the family sat quietly about the doorstep, Connie and Al and Tom on the ground, leaning their backs against the house wall. Uncle John on a box, Paul in the doorway. Only Ma and Rosa Sharon continued to move about. Ruthie and Winefield were sleepy now, but fought it off. They quarreled sleepily out into the darkness. Noah and the preacher squatted side by side, facing the house. Paul scratched himself nervously and took off his hat and ran his fingers through his hair. Tomorrow we'll get that pig salted early in the morning. And then we'll get in the truck loaded, all but the beds. And next morning, off we'll go. Hardly a day's work and all that, he said uneasily. Okay, we're at page 110. We have 3 more pages. We got this. Tom broke in. We'll be mooring around all day, looking for something to do. The group stirred uneasily. We could get ready by daylight and go, Tom suggested. Paul rubbed his knee in his hand, and then restiveness spread to all of them. Noah said, probably wouldn't hurt that meat to get it right down in salt, cut her up and cool quicker anyways. It was Uncle John who broke over the edge, his pressure too great. What are we hanging around for? We want to get shut in all of all this. Now we're going. Why don't we go? I went through like 4 different voices in that one dialogue. ? And the revulsion spread to the rest. Why didn't we go? You'd sleep on the way. And a sense of hurry crept into them. Paul said, they said it's 2,000 miles. They said it's 2,000 miles. That's a hell of a long ways. We ought to go. Noah, you and me get the meat cut up and we'll put all the stuff in the truck. Ma put her hand out to the door. How about if we forget something not seen in the dark? ? We could look out around in daylight, said Noah. I make Noah sound like he has a speech impediment. They sat still then, thinking about it, but in a moment Noah got up and began to sharpen the bow-bladed knife on his little worn stone. Ma, he said, get the table cleared. And then he stepped to a pig, cut a line down one side of the backbone, and began peeling the meat forward, off the ribs. Paul said excitedly, we gotta get stuff together, he said. Come on, you fellas. Now they were committed to going. The hurry infected all of them. Noah carried the slabs of meat to the kitchen and cut it into small salted blocks, and Ma patted the coarse meat in, laid it piece by piece in the kegs. Careful that no 2 pieces touched each other, she laid the slab-like bricks and poured salt in the spaces, and Noah cut up the side meat and cut up the legs. Ma kept the fire going as Noah cleaned the ribs and the spine and the leg bones of all the meat he could. He put them in the oven to roast for gnawing purposes. In the yard and in the barn, the circle lantern lights moved about, and the men brought together all the things that had been taken and piled them by the truck. Rosa Sharon brought out all the clothes and family possessions, the overalls, the thick-soled shoes, the rubber boots, the worn best suits, the sweaters and sheepskin coats, and she packed them tightly into a wooden box and got in the box and trampled them down. And then she brought out the print dresses and shawlies and black cotton stockings and children's clothes, small overalls and sheep-printed dresses. She put them in the box and trampled them down. Alright, before we continue, I'm just going to take a quick... Click. So, what do I do with this? Hey, it worked. That's pretty cool. Surprisingly, I did not know little Noah. I forgot in my first read through that Noah was, he was doing stuff. Honestly, from the way that Noah left such a sour taste in my mouth that I very much forgot about Noah and everything that was ever accomplishing about him just because he freaking walked off in the fan like that. Like, the same respect happened with Connie. As soon as Connie walked away from the fan like that, like, I lost all value in that character. Like, damn. If he came back and did something, perhaps. But the fact is that we never seen Noah, we never seen Connie again, and their complete freaking character world just built up to them being essentially part of the world's chaotic nature of, like, you're a sentient being and you choose the can you even call it the wrong path? You go your own way. And as harsh as the world is, without consoling everybody like how they did, like, Noah just walked off. Connie just walked off. It was very unfortunate. Well, page 210. We're gonna go ahead and call it here because it looks like my storage is running low. The last 2-3 pages will be finished out. Thank you everybody for being here. Thanks for watching me smoke. Peace.